All right. So you can go ahead and click on to slide 4 now, once you're done with your headline. And you'll see that this is an election map from 2016 by county. Okay, so many of you correctly assumed that red meant Republican, blue means Democrat. Emma filled us in that the more populated areas, so like while it looks like there's a lot less blue, the reds are very sparsely populated. So there's actually not that many people that live in those neighborhoods or areas. And the actual title, very boring compared to your title, is an extremely detailed map of the 2016 election. This is 2016 Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump, and these are like how each county voted. So I'm going to go ahead and show a video, and after that, I'm going to send you into some breakout rooms. And you guys are going to talk about one thing that you learned from the video. I know you guys are probably super knowledgeable about, I have to stop this. Probably super knowledgeable about the Electoral College, but I want you to look for something that you did not yet know about the Electoral College, or potentially the history of the Electoral College. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and make sure that I'm optimized. Sweet. Here we go.
Most people have heard of the Electoral College during presidential election years. But what exactly is the Electoral College? Simply said, it is a group of people appointed by each state who formally elect the President and Vice President of the United States. To understand how this process began and how it continues today, we can look at the Constitution of the United States. Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2 of the Constitution. It specifies how many electors each state is entitled to have. Since 1964, there have been 538 electors in each presidential election. How do they decide on the number 538? Well, the number of electors is equal to the total voting membership of the United States Congress. 435 representatives, plus 100 senators, and 3 electors from the District of Columbia. Essentially, the Democratic candidate and Republican candidate are each trying to add up the electors in every state so that they surpass 270 electoral votes, or just over half of 538 votes, and win the presidency. So how do states even get electoral votes? Each state receives a particular number of electors based on population size. The census is conducted every 10 years, so every time the census happens, states might gain or lose a few electoral votes. Let's say you're a voter in California, a state with 55 electoral votes. If your candidate wins in California, they get all 55 of the state's electoral votes. If your candidate loses, they get none. This is why many presidential candidates want to win states like Texas, Florida, and New York. If you currently add up the electoral votes of those 3 states, you would have 96 electoral votes. Even if a candidate won North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and West Virginia, they would only gain 31 electoral votes total from those 8 states. Here's where it can get a little tricky. On a rare occasion, like in the year 2000, someone can win the popular vote but fail to gain 270 electoral votes. This means that the winner may have won and collected their electoral votes by small margins, winning just enough states with just enough electoral votes, but the losing candidate may have captured large voter margins in the remaining states. If this is the case, the very large margins secured by the losing candidate in the other states would add up to over 50% of the ballots cast nationally. Therefore, the losing candidate may have gained more than 50% of the ballots cast by voters, but failed to gain 270 of the electoral votes. Some critics of the Electoral College argue the system gives an unfair advantage to states with large numbers of electoral votes. Think of it this way. It is possible for a candidate to not get a single person's vote, not one vote, in 39 states or the District of Columbia, yet be elected president by winning the popular vote in just 11 of these 12 states: California, New York, Texas, Florida, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, New Jersey, North Carolina, Georgia, or Virginia. This is why both parties pay attention to these states. However, others argue that the Electoral College protects small states such as Rhode Island, Vermont, and New Hampshire, and even geographically large states with small populations, like Alaska, Wyoming, and the Dakotas. That's because a candidate can't completely ignore small states, because in a close election, every electoral vote counts. There are certain states that have a long history of voting for a particular party. These are known as safe states. For the past 4 election cycles, in 1996, 2000, 2004, and 2008, Democrats could count on states like Oregon, Maryland, Michigan, and Massachusetts, whereas the Republicans could count on states like Mississippi, Alabama, Kansas, and Idaho. States that are teetering between parties are called swing states. In the past 4 election cycles, Ohio and Florida have been swing states, twice providing electoral votes for a Democratic candidate and twice providing electoral votes for a Republican candidate. Think about it. Do you live in a safe state? If so, is it a Democratic or Republican safe state? Do you live in a swing state? Are your neighboring states swing or safe? Is the population in your state increasing or decreasing? And do not forget, when you're watching the electoral returns on election night every 4 years and the big map of the United States is on the screen, know that the magic number is 270 and start adding.
All right, team. So I'm going to send you into your breakout rooms. You're going to go to slide 5, and slide 5 is going to have a table on it. And you're going to have everyone in your group share something that you learned from the video. You're going to write your name. So if this is me, I'd write Katie. And I would say that I learned that some states have way more votes than others. And then if Brandon was in my group, I would write Brandon, and then I would listen to what Brandon's saying, and I'm going to write down what Brandon said in this box here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and reopen these breakout rooms here. You should be in a room. You should be in your pre-described rooms, but we will double check here in a second. Closing so that I can reopen them. Recreating. Signed. Yes. All right. You should be able to jump into your room at this point.
Bye, Miss.
Bye, Antoine. Have a good day. So this is what the electoral map looks like right now for the current election. And in the current election, there are blue states, which are almost certainly states that are going to go to Biden. And then you have red states, which are almost certainly going to go to Trump. And then you have yellow states, which are the swing states that I was talking about. So this is like the most recent data we have. So what you're going to do is you're going to count up all of the numbers within the blue states. So for example, you're going to add 12 for Washington, plus 7 for Oregon, plus 55 for California. You can make the picture bigger if you want. And then you're going to add up all the blue. including these states over here, these numbers are just like the little baby states that are too small for numbers. So you're going to add up all the blue and you're going to put that into Biden. Hint, hint, it should be 207. So you actually don't have to count because I already did it for you. But you should get 207 when you add up the blue states. And then you're going to add up the red states. And then you're going to add up the yellow states. And that's going to tell you, that's going to be what you put in the table that's underneath the graph. Table that's underneath there. Go ahead and add those up. And if you get a number for the red states, let me know or let us know. Brandon, welcome back. Thanks for telling us. You should be on slide 6. Slide 6. We are looking at the electoral map as it stands, like before the voting was happening, before we count. The blue states are Biden, probably going to go to Biden, and the red states are probably going to go to Trump, and the yellow states are swings. So we are counting, we're just counting how many votes, if the map stayed like this, how many votes each party would have. So blue would have 12 plus 7 plus 55 plus 5 plus 29, et cetera, et cetera. The blue states add up to 207. And then I'm hoping someone's about to hit the chat with the number for the red states. Do we have red states? Thanks for asking that question, Brandon. Anybody got me on the red states? I'm seeing like 126, 127, 130. Gally got 127, staking her name on it. 130 question mark. I don't know if you added Nebraska. If you added Nebraska, Nebraska is actually counting right here. So the 5 from Nebraska are actually being counted right here because Nebraska is kind of funny. Nebraska, two electoral college votes go to the winner of the state, and then the other 3 are distributed by the individual districts. That's why they have that like weird line on them. So when you count, you don't want to count this 5, you only want to count 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, because one of them is undecided. 130. Okay, we got 130, it sounds like. Okay, how many swings are there? What's the yellow number? We have 6, 11, 9, 38, 10, 6, 10, 16. I don't know what that says, 18, 20. I'm just reading numbers, it's gonna mess you up. How many swings? It's not gonna be 270, I don't think. Is it? Well, maybe it is. One person has 210. Does that sound right? 210. Gally's also confirming 210. Miriam's also got 210. Love it. Sounds like we're going with 210. Wow, that's awesome. So we have the 538 total. We know 207 of them are going to Biden, 130 of them are going to Trump, and then there are 210 that are up for grabs, right? Up for grabs. So go ahead and go to page 7 when you're ready. And page 7 it shows us this picture, the road to 270. And the question is just, what does this phrase mean? And why is 270 significant? Right, 270. Yeah, I think you guys are hitting it on the head. 270 is the number of votes that are needed to win, right? So if someone gets 270, they have won. because that is more than half of the electoral votes that are available. So to anybody hits 270, they are the winners. It means it's the end of the line. Yes, exactly. That candidate has won. As you start to finish up this one, you can click over to slide 8. What it's going to ask you to do is go to an interactive map that CNN has put together, which is really, really awesome. And what you're going to do is you're going to find a way that Biden can win. Okay. So you're only allowed to change the swing states. Like, we are pretty darn sure that the blue and red states, like CNN is convinced the blue and red states, like those are set, right? They're not changing. So, but there are still a lot of yellow states here. So I'm going to go ahead and reset my map because I was messing with it. So I'm going to click this reset button. All right. So this is where we're at. A few of them have changed since earlier today. So Biden's at 203, Trump is at 125. There are a few more battleground states than there were last week. So pretty interesting. You are going to change whichever states you want to change whichever yellow states you want to change in order to create a Biden victory, right? So I'm going to say, I think in Colorado, he's going to get it. So I'm going to click on Colorado until it turns blue. And you'll notice now he has 212. So I'm creating my own election map. I'm thinking he's from Pennsylvania. He has a pretty good chance of winning Pennsylvania. I'm going to click that. You don't have to know these things. You can do what you want. I think maybe in North Carolina, I'm going to try North Carolina. He's getting close to 270. Maybe I'll say, I think he's going to win Florida. It's been a long time since the Democrats won Florida, but perhaps it might happen. Once I get to 270, right, it shows that Biden would win. And so then I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot of this. And that's what I'm going to put on slide 9. So on slide 9, it's going to ask you to take a screenshot and showing one way for Biden to win. Okay. Then slide 10 is going to ask you to do the exact same thing, but for Trump. So you'll want to reset your map. You just scroll up and press reset map. It's right underneath Trump's face. You reset the map back to like how it should look right now, and then you're going to change some states to be Trump. Okay. Do we have to convert all the states or just the ones we want? Great question, Christine. You do not have to convert all the states, just the ones that you want, but you can only convert the yellow ones. So you can't just like be up here like changing North Dakota into a blue state, because North Dakota is not going to be a blue state. North Dakota is going to be a red state. I think it's been red in like every election since like, I don't know, 1900 or something. So you just have to convert the yellow ones. So you're kind of like messing around to see which states are super important, which I'm seeing in the chat already, like Texas is so important. Texas is normally a red state. I'm actually surprised that CNN made it a yellow state, because normally I'd say it's like a light red or a dark red state. It's almost always that. And then Florida, always a battleground state. Pennsylvania is an interesting one because Joe Biden is actually from Scranton, Pennsylvania, which will make that interesting if he wins or doesn't win. So you're finding one way that Biden could win and one way that Trump could win. So when you have your way for that to happen, you're going to go ahead and press this plus sign here. That's going to let you insert the photo into your decimal. You guys are doing great. If you're interested in working ahead, I opened up slides 12 and 13. You can check those out. Wow, lots of all red maps. This method for Trump to win is like he has to win basically the entire country. Very interesting. As you get to slide 12, you're doing some noticings and some wonderings. Some noticings and some wonderings about the additional map that you see there. And once you've noticed and wondered, you can move to slide 13. I love this wondering from slide 12. It says, I wonder why the states aren't proportional to their land size. Yeah, that's really cool. Wonder what time it's talking about. Definitely. Once you've noticed and wondered, you can go ahead and move to slide 13, which will give you a little bit more information. I noticed that Hawaii and Alaska are the darkest colors and that the colors represent a time, definitely. Awesome. So what you guys are looking at is an hour by hour guide of when the polls are going to close. So the first polls that are going to close are actually going to close in about 15 minutes, 14 minutes actually, at 3 p.m. Pacific time. That's parts of Indiana and Kentucky. So those two states close first. And that's why you see them in the center here at that lightest pale color, right? So those two will close first. And then there's going to be a steady stream of closings, like half hours or hours after that, all the way until some of you guys noticed Alaska and Hawaii will close at 9 p.m. Pacific time because they're in another time zone as well. Something also to mention is often we it closes and then they just kind of declare it. But this year, since there are a lot of mail-in votes, it could be very normal for them to not be able to tell us who won tonight or even who won in the tomorrow morning or even the rest of this week. And that's normal. There's a lot of, number one, it's not the first time that that's happened. And this year there are a lot of mail-in votes that have to be counted by hand. Actually, I don't know if they count them by hand. They probably count them on I'm sure they count them on a machine, but I don't know if they have to be I don't know what that process looks like. Seems interesting. But this will tell you when to look at. That question about why are they not by landmass, right? Texas is actually bigger than this. And that's because each of these pixels is related to the number of electoral votes that they have. So California is the biggest because it has the most electoral college votes. Texas and New York have the next biggest with Florida. And then states like North Dakota and South Dakota, which are really big states, but they have very few people in them. So they are marked as a smaller number of little pixels or squares here. So the squares are representing the state's number of electoral votes. Okay. Awesome. So if you are on slide 14 or beyond, you are going to find from slide 15 through slide 20, there are a variety of different homework options for you. I know some people will think that they want to do more information. So slides 18 and 19 give you more options to like explore and check things out. If you just want to like sort of reflect on what we talked about today, you can look at slides 15 and 16. If you want to talk or text or email someone, then you can look at slide 17. Let me go ahead and let you actually get to those slides. Please hold. Let me stop pacing you so you can actually click at your leisure. So on slide 14, it says on the next five slides, you'll see 5 kinds of homework, right? You need to complete 2 of them in order to get your points for today. So if you complete slide 15 and 17, you're good. If you do 17 and 18, you're good. If you do 19 and 16, you're good. If you do 16 and 17 and 18 and 19, you're doubly good. You only have to do 2 of them. Okay, so your homework for tonight is to do 2 of the 5 slides that are labeled homework. So you'll see there's homework 1, there's homework 2, homework 3, homework 4, and homework 5. So you can choose 2 of those 5 slides. That is your homework for today. Okay. And we are right on time. It is 2:50. That means our time together is over. I'm a big political science human. So if you need someone to text or call or chat with late into the night, or if you don't know how to, if you hear something on the news and you don't understand what it is, I will also be watching the news and taking it all in. And I can try to explain some of those things if they're not making sense to you. So feel free to use me as a resource if you'd like. If this is altogether too stressful and you're over it, then please take a break. Don't turn on the TV. Go for a walk. Take a bubble bath. Whatever do you. But I do want to offer myself as a resource if that helps you. Okay. So you're doing 2 out of the 5 slides. That is your only homework. We will come to the next. We'll do assignment 13 on Thursday. And I love you guys. I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys. Bye. 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 Happy election day. Bye. See you later. Bye, Marley. Adios. Adios. Bye. You're welcome. No problem. Bye. Josh, Janet, guys have questions? All right. Sounds like a plan. Happy election day.